So I've been watching the Paramount Plus rock and roll documentary. I can't remember what it was called, but it's about the 80s Sunset Strip. And there was a really cool part on there that was talking about women's involvement in music and how, Tawny Katane was dancing around on the hood of the cars and all these women in music videos. And all of a sudden it had to go into like a 10-minute, this was bad. Men objectified women, but yet they had just got done talking about Poison and how all the women were at their show and it was like Beatlemania. And then they talked about Tracy Guns. He could not go to the restroom without women pulling him in there and being aggressive with him. So let's flip that. What if a woman couldn't go to the bathroom because a man was waiting in there? You know, when these albums were sold, they had just went on this long rant about how the women would have posters of the men like White Lion on their wall. I think people took the sex and rock and roll. It was hand in hand. It was male and female. The females always thought, wondered, they wanted to have the rock star boyfriend. They wanted to be in the music videos. That was their place. Like, it was their dream. I'm not saying that there wasn't men that were after women and all that, but I kind of think it worked hand in hand because those bands would not have become anything if it wasn't for the women supporting it. The women were the reason why that music got famous. And then when grunge came in, it only had like a 2 year run because what happened next? Rap. And then you had, going into the thong song, rap went from rap rock to hardcore rap, pop. And then that was the death of rock and roll. Rock and roll has been in this flux with being sexual because this anti woke corporation or whatever, which I am anti woke in a certain degree too. Like, don't take my Star Wars and just absolutely treat Luke Skywalker so bad because you need to represent a female. You can write a really good script. You can make all of these things work. Star Wars has always been, very open with the entire male and female thing. But this is about rock and roll. I do think that there is enough balance in music. Whenever we started looking, now that we are going to start looking at 80s rock and we're going to be talking in ways where it's like, oh, it's misogyny. These women wanted it. And even the little bit that I got a taste in music and going out and playing, I've seen the women be more aggressive than the males. Um, so we've taken rock and roll out of the equation. It's over. There's no more misogyny that matters in big time music anymore. So what has a lot of women become and done? Not a lot, but there's OnlyFans and things of that nature out there where women are objectifying themselves. There's a market to be made there. There's money to be made there. So I think when it comes to what's being objective, when it comes to how dare rock and roll doing that, I think a lot of people don't understand is it was all controlled by the females. All of that music was done, the look, the image, everything was to get the females at the show because the females would buy the stuff. The females, if females are there, males were going to show up. So I just think that there's this part of it that nobody talks about because it's easy just to look at it and see a Cherry Pie music video and be like, oh, I'm sure that girl dreamed. Bobby, she made a lot of money off of being in that music video. And I think there's a lot of that stuff that is not said that is out there. And even you're probably going to get mad at me and be like, oh, it was misogyny. These women wanted that. They dreamed of it. There's stories. There's thousands of stories. These women supported the rock stars down on the Sunset Strip because they didn't have jobs. They all lived with strippers. Strippers were the one that had the money. So, in my eyes, in my view, women created the rock and roll. They're just not getting they're not getting the merit for it. They're not getting the thank you for helping the 80s rock and be so cool as it was. But anyway, that's just some thoughts. What do you think about that? Really use your brain about it. Don't be like, oh, it was all misogyny. because I just gave you some examples. Even watching that Paramount Plus show, the dude could not even go to the restroom. He got to the point where he had to say, "No, I have to pee."